This is Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I'm speaking with John today, and John works for Crown Power and Equipment, who has locations all up and down Missouri. Case dealer everywhere, and Kubota dealer at many locations, but not all. And we're talking today at the Ozark Fall Farm Fest, and John and I go back a ways. We used to both work for AGCO, and you've been a case rep, AGCO rep, and you kind of know the company end of it, and now you're in the dealership world, so you've had some very experience.
Yes, I have. I spent 17 years in the equipment manufacturer's world, and just recently switched over to the dealer world as the sales and marketing director at Crown Power.
And we're going to talk today. First question I have to ask you, and I'm hitting dealers at this show with the same questions that I get asked all the time. And one of the things I wanted to touch on is a person that's never owned a tractor before. And we're talking, most of my audience come to me for education about these small tractors, and they may be getting ready to buy one. They've never owned one. What's the one thing that they need to know that they may not know?
The one thing I would say is concentrate on your purchasing, your buying experience, and think about what you want the tractor to do. And I know Mike talks about this in some of his videos, but you need to think about what do you want to do with your tractor. And then as a dealer, we can help you find the solution to that, whether it's brush hogging, whether it's loading hay, and that can also help you out with the horsepower requirements, because there's a lot of different price points by horsepower. And so just knowing what you want to do with your tractor, we can find the solutions for you.
There's a lot of difference in pricing on tractors, and before we started recording, you mentioned this, and I think we need to bring this out. You need to educate yourself to know the differences in what you get, because there may be a $3,000 difference in two tractors, but there's differences in what's on them.
Yes, and you can think about it from the car industry. You have some good, better, best. And so it's kind of different features. And so you have a mechanical shuttle transmission, which means you have to match the clutch, to a hydro, and there's just different price points with that. And so the big thing I would say is not all tractors are created equal in specs, which creates the different price points in the marketplace.
And there's a certain customer that wants the cheapest, and I get that. And there's other customers that buy the cheapest that really wanted the best. And then when you get ready to, if you try to trade it, you're going to take a bath on resale value and everything.
Yes, and it's like anything else. The longer, if you make a bad purchase decision and you want to come back and trade it, it's really hard in the short term. It's just, and that happens in the car world too. Not that, I won't say we're car dealers, but it's just there's an appreciation coming. And so that's where I would say I hope a good dealer will help you find the right solution for your needs, and not just try to sell you the cheapest because it's the cheapest.
And I think generally dealers are a good resource for education.
Absolutely. And it's because we want, as dealers, as far as Crown Power, we want you to have a great experience with us, and we want you to be a customer for a long time. We want to take care of you after the sale, with parts and service and just anything you need going down the road.
Now, second question I have, if I'm a new tractor buyer and I buy that first tractor, what do I need to know before I start running it?
Well, some key things is when you go to Ask Tractor Mike, you answer some key questions about what to do, how to run it. I think some of the key things is just thinking about what you want and ask the salesman all those questions, and just ask a lot of questions, because the more questions you ask, the better informed you're going to be and better buying experience you're going to have. And so I was just telling them to ask a lot of questions of the salesman. I think any salesman that sells smaller tractors expects a lot of education in the process. Oh, yes. And I think they're willing to, when they deliver the piece of equipment, to show you how to run it, to spend some time with you. And that's what we expect of our salesmen. Honestly, that's what we expect, because there's a lot of people buying small tractors who never ran a tractor before. Yeah. From my experience, I grew up around tractors. I grew up around farms. Well, there's a lot of people that's watching this now that's never. So don't be afraid. Ask the questions, and because it's like anything else. The more questions you ask, the more questions when they deliver it, and you feel more comfortable, the better you're going to enjoy this buying experience. And the safer you'll be too, because safety's really important. Last question I have, and you and I have both been worked for a dealer, and we both worked for companies. And I have people all the time say, when's the best time of year to buy a tractor? And I love a bargain. We all love bargains, and we'd like to time our purchase. In your experience, and you've been all over the board, know ins and outs, behind the curtain and everything, what's the best time to buy a tractor? I would say the best time in general is the model year closeouts, because there is economic price increases every year. It's just that is a standard practice in this business. It's not going away. So model year closeouts are the best time. And then also, if there's a new model coming out, that new model creates a previous model that companies want to liquidate that inventory in a short period of time. That is the best time. And so what month is that in the 12-month time period? I can't answer that, because really and truly depends on what's coming down from the manufacturers or what's coming in the future, because they do watch their inventory levels. The one thing I will say, there's high times in the season of use, so potentially the better deals are in the off season, probably when you're thinking about doing your research of buying it, but not necessarily when you want to spend the money. So in the off season could be some good timing of good time to buy, excuse me.
And one thing I'd mention, and we talked about this before we started this interview, you're not going to see a massive change in pricing. No. I don't. If you need a tractor in April, and they're selling tractors in April, and you want to wait till October and lose one season of use, I don't really think you'll get paid back.
I don't think so either, because it's probably less than $500 difference when it comes down to it. So when you're ready to make a purchase, I would just say, just look for maybe some financing specials, but really it's not that much, because it doesn't vary that much, really and truly.
Big tractors are different, but the small tractors are pretty consistent in price.
Correct. That is correct.
All right. Thank you, John. I survive on web traffic. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page and share this video with other tractor enthusiasts. And if you have questions or comments, put them down below. We'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.